Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Exploring DC, where we take a piece of DC and explore it with you. I am your host, Josh. With me, as always, are my co hosts, Jackson and Jalen. How are we doing?
Just filled up my water. I'm
Yep.
ready to hydrate or fucking dehydrate.
Jackson, are the rumors true that you are unemployed and broke?
Let me tell you something, Josh.
That's just what I hear on the street.
Dude, let me show you something. So this has been my letterbox log for the past couple days.
Audio
I'm putting
listeners,
up
love you to
numbers.
death. Neighbors 1 and 2 is right next to house.
Dude, look at how many movies I'm watching.
Was that
That's
like
like
was
a
that like
month.
5 movies in a day?
Dude, yeah, I watch 5 movies in a day because that's what you
Oh
can
my
do when you're
God.
unemployed.
That's unhealthy. Well, it's
For
healthy
the
and
love of the
unhealthy.
game. For the
No,
love of the
I
game.
don't. That's the most I've ever watched in one day. Like, I'm not a guy who like needs to watch. I don't like watching too many movies in one day, but it's just I've been so deprived
hmm
of watching new movies for so long that I'm like,
I
now
think
I'm ready. I'm locked in.
alternatively, I've watched like 3 movies in the past week and a half, and one of them was Magic Mike too. So
And
Crazy.
Yeah, my favorite one. My
one of them
favorite
was
one.
Fantastic Four.
yeah, but I haven't wrote a review yet. I thought it was cool. I liked it. I'm
Yeah,
happy that
exploring Marvel.
exploring Marvel, man. Yeah, I'm happy both
Sequel,
Superman and
sequel
Fantastic Four are
podcast?
good. hmm Yes, with us is a guest that we had for the why am I blanking? My Adventures Superman episode, and now he's back to talk some comics with us. Sam, how are you doing?
Yo, I'm doing great.
Good, good.
Very good, very good.
Oh, by the way, guys, before we get started on this comic, did we introduce Jalen yet?
Yeah,
Okay,
Jalen,
cool.
how are you doing,
Oh, well, okay, fine.
buddy?
Cut me off. Fuck me. Go, Jalen.
You wanted to hear how Jalen's doing.
You know what, man? I'm good. I've been sleeping real well since I stole Jesse Eisenberg from Mr. Wells right
You're
there
not going to be
last week.
sleep with one eye open.
So yeah, chat. I'm good. I'm good.
Good.
You chat. You chat. Fucking bitch. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to say before we get into this, I have kind of a disclaimer that
Yeah.
I saw a study done that where women were polling what they find to be the least attractive hobbies in men, and that comic books were at number one. So
Is
take that as you
podcasting at
will.
number 2?
Take that as you will.
No, that's unfortunate.
And I just thought that we should kind of, acknowledge that before we go into talking about comic books for an hour.
No, I was asking if podcasting's at number 2.
Podcasting was definitely in there. So we're really doing numbers right now, guys.
But we all have girlfriends, right?
Love of the game.
Yeah.
Am I
That's aside from the point, Jalen.
just saying, man?
No, we got them before we got into the comic books. That's how we
Definitely not
bypassed
true
it.
on my
That's-
end. But
that's
you know,
Yeah,
not
no,
true.
yeah,
Well,
not true on my end either.
that might be a you thing, buddy.
It's the exact opposite. Yeah. Guys, today we're going to talk about the absolute universe. We're just going to do a broad overview because I know there's a lot of issues out in a lot of different series. I tasked everyone with reading at least the first issue of each
Yeah.
series. How did you guys do on that?
I read the first of each series.
Okay,
Me as
Jalen.
well.
All right, Sam. Okay.
But like,
Cool.
I mean, can I jump straight to the chase?
What's the chase?
I think I'm probably going to keep reading each one of these.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's what I've been
Well,
doing.
Like, I was about to say, like, I read each one of these for the podcast, but like, every time I finished one, I was like, "Fuck, I want to keep going on this, but I have to read the
It's
other
so
one," and then I
good.
would read that, and I was like, "Fuck, I want to keep reading this, but I gotta go read the
Well,
other one."
especially because I read them today, like before the pod. I was like, I want to read more, but I don't have time right now.
Yeah.
So I
Mhm.
think what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with Batman because that kind of kicked it off, and then
Yeah.
we can just jump around wherever you guys want to go. You can guide me around, but
Yeah, dude,
we're gonna be
these-
covering
These are sick.
right now.
Yeah.
We're gonna cover the first issue of Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, The Flash, Martian Manhunter, and Green Lantern because that is what is
Yep.
out at the time of this recording. Okay, let's just start. Absolute Batman. Scott Snyder wrote this one. He did a lot of work on Court of Owls. I mean, he's been around for a while, big comic book legend. And then art by Nick Dragata, who I'm less familiar with, but he's done some cool stuff with DC. And this one kind of introduces you to the whole concept, which is basically that they're each going to be their own little. I think it's all in the same universe, right? But they're little pockets of kind of like what if, but instead of like one thing being different, it's just a lot of little things being different, and it kind of adds up and makes a very contorted view of these characters. And so in this one, Batman, he didn't have his parents die at the movie theater thing. He actually had his dad die at the zoo, and then he used his skills to become super trained and took a lot of different classes to learn a bunch of different skills. And now he's this massive, like, hulking guy at 20 something. And I thought, I don't want to start with me. Jalen, let me start with you, man. How did you feel about this
Dude, this
first
was my
issue?
favorite one. This
Was
was
it?
like this was insane. So going in, I knew absolutely nothing. I had read absolutely
I see
everything
what you did
before,
there.
but like, yeah, I know, right? It was fantastic. My joke that I made there, but I like going in, it was I was completely blank, and then when I saw it or when I started reading it, I was like, dude, this is like hooking me because I read each one in like just in like personal Justice League order. So I read Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Lantern, Manhunter, um,
Nice.
and Batman was my second one after Superman. And I guess spoiler alert for Superman, I wasn't the biggest on the Superman one, which
Mhm.
made me I think love the Batman one even more because one, bro is like swole. Two, the moment where he takes his batarang off and turns it into an axe and cuts bro's hand off, I was like, oh
Mm.
my god. And then like there were just so many moments in here where I was like, dude, this feels like a combination of like Bale and Pattinson and just like multiplied just each of their asset, like each of their like the different aspects of their characterizations, and just went like completely metal with it. It was insane, man. What about you guys?
All I knew was that Batman was massive, but then all the other villains were crazy. I remember seeing all these TikToks of like, how is Batman gonna make it through? And it's like Killer Croc and Bane are like 60 feet tall, and the Joker has like baby skulls and all this stuff. And so I was like, what the fuck is going on in this comic? And this one was a little more straightforward. I
hmm
I thought it was gonna be a lot
Mhm.
weirder, and it's not so far, but it was cool, and I loved the alterations to his origin and how much extra like preparation he put into becoming Batman compared to what you normally see, which is him just kind of going off to the mountains and training. Like I thought it's
Yeah,
cool that he's become part of the community as well. And that was
yeah, I
really
like that.
interesting to see how everything was ingrained. It was really, really sick. And he had, I mean, if we want to say aura, we can the whole time on this every
Yeah.
run
Every
here,
character had
but
aura.
like
Yeah,
Batman was man,
just crank
he
that
was
up.
yeah, he fucking
Alfred
rocked.
was sick as fuck in this.
Oh, I know, dude. He was so cool too. I loved that alteration too, and having that be a different viewpoint and bringing in some of his military experience and stuff because that's a big part of the Pennyworth show, which if you guys never seen, I'm assuming is really
No.
cool. Yeah, that one that's like a prequel one that goes to his time in the British Armed Forces,
hmm
and it's cool to see like this kind of drawback to
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
Jackson, how did you feel about it?
This is fucking awesome, dude. I don't do a very good job about keeping up with comics that are coming out.
Mm-hmm.
I mainly just kind of pick up what looks interesting to me, but I think I'm going to keep up with these if as long as they keep up the quality. I've had a couple physicals of like the first couple issues of Absolute Batman,
Oh,
and
that
they had
rocks.
just been
okay.
sitting on my shelf until we decided to do this. So it was an excuse to finally bust into them. And yeah, man, they're really cool. They're really really fucking cool.
Yeah. I even loved like small things. I loved how Waylon Killer Croc was introduced in this one, and how they brought in how they set up the Joker at the end too. There's so many
Yeah.
cool like alterations. It's nothing's too insane yet, but I know it's gonna get weird, which is exciting.
Yes.
Oh
Sam,
man,
how
like
did you feel?
I am loving to describe. I can't even begin to describe how much I'm loving specifically the design choices of everything that they've made because every design that they have like showed for every single character in any of like the
Yeah.
in any of the runs about any of the characters is just it's 10 out of 10. I have no
You have a
notes.
favorite?
Like, oh, see, see, the thing is, whenever they introduce a new character, it becomes my favorite. Like when I first got into like started reading these when I saw that they redesigned like Mister Freeze to be like that, like when to go looking from Until Dawn with like the ice breath and stuff. And I was like,
Yeah.
terrifying.
Well,
I love
I'm
it
talking
because
like generally across like all the absolute runs. Do you have like a
oh,
design that kind of sticks out?
I think I love the designs so far the most in Absolute Martian Manhunter, because like the way that they design him in that
Yeah.
one is so like different compared to anything that we've seen, especially with him. It
Mm.
like it amazes me that they went in that direction and then did it so well, because
And
especially
also the
when
art
like,
style.
changes that too,
Yeah.
like that. Plus, with the most recent issue, I don't know if you guys read the most recent issue of Absolute
No, I've
Martian
only read
Manhunter.
one.
Oh my god, it's amazing. It's I'm not gonna say anything, but there's a they introduce a big villain, like a huge DC villain in that, and his design is fucking awesome. That's all I'm gonna
That's
say. But my favorite design in the Batman one is probably gonna is it probably has to be Killer Croc, because the way that like you talked about it earlier is how they introduced his design like with that cover, and then they
yeah.
showed it like later in like the in that one, like how like the teeth run all the way down all the way here, and then he just opens it up like he's like Godzilla or something. And then at the end, when Batman like pretty much uses him as a mount, and I'm
Mm.
like, okay, this is crazy, but I fuck with it, so I don't care. It looks amazing. And then like the most recent villain that I saw that they redesigned with like all of the villain designs are just like horrifying. I still don't fully understand how there's any regular like criminals in Gotham when you have all of the villains plus Batman just like wandering the streets. Like Poison Ivy, she's like this like zombie like plant wall virus thing, and I'm like, okay, this is insane. And then you have like people like the Joker and Bane and Mister Freeze and Killer Croc. I'm curious how they're gonna do. Also, I I I gotta say, absolute Catwoman, peak design. I'm not going to say anything more because I can't. Great,
I,
just
I
great
I
stuff.
do
So
not know what any of these people look like. I'm excited to see.
Yeah, I'm pretty
okay,
fresh into it too. So
yeah, it's
he's
great. It's great stuff. Yeah,
yeah, but I mean, what I loved initially, because this was the first one I read, was that I assumed it was just going to be a lot of like design changes and it would get pretty weird. But I thought the way that they changed things was clever. With Batman, he just you can see how much more drive and like he is just a man on a mission in this one, even more so compared to like your contemporary Batmans that you see, and like when he has that crowd and he just like screams at them to get out of his way. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
this you do not fuck around with this Batman, and I thought that was really cool how they incorporated like his new personality. It's slightly different than your traditional Batman.
Exactly, and like even in that moment too, when he screamed for everybody to get out of his way, and then like expertly dismantles them in like the smoothest way
Mm-hmm.
possible. Like he barely breaks a sweat, and then like that final panel where you kind of get that shot of like everyone just knocked out on the stairs, and it's like 20 like 15 to 20 people, and then like Batman is just slowly walking down up until the last guy, and then he cuts his hand off and all that other stuff. But like it's aura, just peak aura, bro. And then like to have Alfred, like assassin Alfred, narrating this entire thing and like expertly
Yeah.
pointing out how Batman is very, very, very brutal, but he makes sure to leave them, he hits points that bring them close to death, but he never kills
Mm.
them. But he brutalizes them to the utmost extent until he
Yeah,
knows that they can't die, you know? And that moment, I was like, okay, yeah, this is my favorite. This is my favorite series. And then he shoots Alfred in the face with like a bunch of batarangs, like small miniature batarangs, and I'm like, yeah, this Batman rocks, bro.
that's the
Amazing.
other thing, Jalen, is that immediately with a lot of these ones, I was like, the brutality here is
Yeah.
very intense, and there's the scene with Black Mask and the crime bosses.
Oh,
I was like,
I didn't
okay,
even mention Black Mass, bro. When he cuts off, when he has his people cut off Maroni and
Yep.
and Falcone's faces off, but they each go in separate ways. Like one of them is like sawed off, kind of, and then the other one is like using a knife to like pull it apart, bro. I was like, I. I literally had to get up and like walk around, and I haven't had to do that for a
mm.
comic in a long time,
Well, even the
man.
way they set up the heads that Black Mask had, I was like, okay,
That's
this is
sick.
sick, dude. And then he has this weird little daughter thing with I did not know what was. I'm so excited to read more. Sam, you've read
Yeah.
more. Um,
Yeah, no,
does
it's
it keep
it's
up with this level of brutality and strangeness and all that?
so you guys have only read the first one, right? Of
Yeah.
like
Of yes,
First
of
one
Batman.
all
was.
these, of all of
Okay,
these, yeah.
okay. So yeah, I can't go into too much, but it's just like everything that they do is like maybe regular Batman and like regular like DC Universe or like Elseworld stuff, right? Imagine it as like a 7, 7.5, 8, right? They crank everything up to like 13 or 50 in just terms of just like everything that they do. Like I'm not gonna
That's a
say anything for what they do, but the design for his Batmobile is like legitimately like were they on crack when they made this? And if so, what kind of? Because that is amazing. Like
Yeah.
it takes everything to the extreme, but in like the best possible direction.
so cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I mean that was a fucking fantastic start and really got us into it. Jackson, take me somewhere else. Which one should we tap into here?
I mean, in my, I don't know about you. I honestly wouldn't mind just kind of going in all at once because I feel like at least reading all these back to back to back, I have a lot of the same thoughts on all of them. And I feel like if I go through like one by one, I'm just going to be fucking repeating myself.
See, I feel like I have different. Some I liked a lot more than
Really?
others.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, and
Same
some I
here.
thought were just kind of like
There were two
lower
that I thought were
level.
like, but four of them were like,
Mm-hmm.
obviously including Batman. I was like, oof, that's Aura, you know. But two of them, I was like,
I
Did you not
I'm not
fuck
ready
with
to
Green
do it.
Lantern?
No. I actually rocked with Green Lantern a lot. I didn't mess with Flash or Superman.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Those were probably my two least favorite as well.
yeah, we can. That's the one I was gonna say. My least favorite was the Flash, and again, this is only the first
I guess
issue.
we'll go to Flash.
I thought that it brings in Wally West, and the whole story is just kind of him. You know, there's this like quarantine military army
Yeah.
base, and he sneaks out and gets in trouble with his dad and meets Barry. Barry's trying to get him to work with him part time at this experimental facility, and then you get like flashes to him with his powers in the desert. You see some of the rogues, a lot of cool stuff. I just thought that like it didn't give me enough from this first issue that really set itself apart
Yeah.
from like your standard Flash.
I am glad they did Wally though.
I am glad too. It was really cool,
Yeah.
and I think it looks really cool.
Mm.
But there was like with some of these other ones, there was a distinct like, okay,
Yeah.
this is the big thing that's different. This one, I was like, okay, it's the Flash, but the setting is different.
Yes.
Exactly. That was the
I agree
one
with
for
that.
me that drew me in the least. You know, the only thing that really I think I wanted more of, Wally's power set. Just kind of like the other ones, they go so far into showing, how insanely amazing and awesome these characters are. Like, Green Lantern, even though Green Lantern kind of does the same thing, she kind of does have her cool moment in the end where she bursts in and, I guess when we
Mhm.
get to Green Lantern, we'll talk about it more. But each moment like has that, or each first issue has that moment where you truly get to see truly how this character operates and who this character is in
Yeah.
this new world. With Wally, he just kind of seemed like a bullied kid, and that was also the one where I was like, how is this different from? I could see how Barry was different. I could clearly see how Barry was different, but I couldn't really see how Wally was too different from like the main timeline version. And I think I wanted a little bit more. Obviously, I'm going to keep reading it like you guys, but and I also was very interested in like the Grodd setup,
Yeah.
or at least the gorilla setup. That was really
Oh,
cool.
I didn't even catch
Yeah.
that. I guess that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
thought like lab monkey. Yeah. Um, no, I didn't even piece that together. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like it was cool. Barry seemed like standard Barry. I don't remember Wally having a dad. Normally in the comics that's around. Maybe I'm wrong, but that was a
No,
change.
he has Joe West in the show The Flash,
Well, in the show, though, yeah, of the
in the TV
CW
show The
Flash.
Flash.
Oh, I'm well aware. I'm well aware. But like in terms of the
No,
comics, I don't
yeah,
remember
yeah.
this guy. Yeah, I don't know, Jackson. Did you get anything out of this one?
Um, it was probably my least favorite, but I like the vibe. I will read more of it.
Yeah, I like the Rogues was a fun little
Mhm.
Oh yes,
twist.
the
I suppose,
Rogues.
yeah.
We
Yes,
got we
I
got
like that.
Omni Man. We got Omni Man Captain Cole, and I really like that. I really love that
Yeah.
design.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad I wasn't the only one who thought about that.
Yeah.
Sam, have you
I
read
was
more of
like,
this?
yeah, I do agree that Flash, I feel like, is the weakest of like the absolute runs in my opinion. I think like the strongest is obviously like the flagship for it is either Batman. I feel like Martian Manhunter or Wonder Woman when we get to Wonder Woman are going to be like the kind of like dark horses for it. I feel like they're going to go a little bit under the radar, but they're going to be like really good. But so far, Martian Manhunter has been like excellent. Um, but yeah, Flash. I feel like it just. I feel like I'm rehashing points that people have already talked about, but it's just like I feel like there isn't as much like absolute universe like put into like the Flash absolute Flash compared to like the other ones. Like compared to the other ones, everything is cranked up to like a 13 or a 15. This one kind of feels like it's only cranked up to like maybe an 11 or a 10. It doesn't feel like it doesn't have that signature flair that I've like expected from like the absolute universe, and I feel like that's like the like selling point of the absolute universe is that it's like everything is like maxed out and there's no
Yeah.
like sense of normalcy or whatever. So I feel like
Hmm.
yeah, Flash would be like my lowest one.
Right. Let me transition here. Jalen Green Lantern, dude. Al Ewing wrote this one. He worked
Yeah.
on some Metamorpho stuff, and he's been around for a while. And then Johnny Lindsay's been doing the art, and he worked on the recent Superboy stuff. So some recent art there. Walk me through this one. Like, what was this one
This
for
is
you?
the one that intrigued me the most. It wasn't my favorite, like I wanted it to be, but it did intrigue me along with Martian Manhunter and Wonder Woman the most on where this story is going to go.
Yeah.
Because one, seeing the design for Abin Sur, I was like blown out of my mind. Because even though yes, Abin Sur has been portrayed as like an alien in the actual comics, dude looks like something out of some sort of alien v Predator movie or something like that, right? He looked
Mhm.
insane. um and he didn't look peaceful at all, which is something that most designs for Abin Sur kind of do, because he is a peaceful guy. He was the protector of 2814. I forget for how long in the comics, but I don't think it was for too long before Hal got the ring. But to also see Hal flipped on his head and turned into like this beacon for like fear and death, but this time portrayed in like the Black Hand kind of energy, was like really, really, really interesting. And I like how we didn't focus on this absolute Green Lantern. I liked how we focused on the Green Lantern that we already knew. and it kind of was like a turn on his head too, where it's like if you didn't see the cover, you know, and if you just went into this like from page one and then just started reading, you wouldn't know who was gonna become this Green Lantern. You wouldn't know if it was gonna be like a turning a Hal Jordan on his head or turning a John Stewart on his head. But then when the
Mm-hmm.
new character gets introduced and she's like shining, she doesn't even have a suit. She just has like the green R around her and like the green insignia
Yeah.
with her eyes glowing, with like her hair flowing, and then there were like locks too. So it was like
Mm-hmm.
it was crazy, man. Which also, side note, I
She
forgot to
rocked
mention
that
this.
final panel.
Oh yeah, bro, she was
Yeah.
insane. Me and Jackson had a meetup with some of our other friends this weekend for our viewers, and we went in this comic shop, and I saw this Green Lantern character from DC, which I'm sure we'll talk about at some point on the podcast. But I'm loving how much my Green Lanterns are getting aura because it was a Funko Pop of this specific Green Lantern. She's like blonde. I had never seen her before in my life in comics, and she had like a sword, and she was like kneeling with the
Oh.
entire Green Lantern Corps behind her. Bro, it was the most insane like image that I think I've seen as a Green Lantern fan in a while. But to bring it back to absolute, I am loving how much the Green Lanterns are getting respect, and I
Yeah.
think with Lanterns, they are going to be on a lot of people's radar. Like everyone from Hal to John to Alan
Mhm.
to Guy to Kyle, you know, to Jessica and Simon and all these other people. I'm excited for the Green Lantern Renaissance, man.
Yeah, the thing that interests me the most, honestly, Jax, I don't know if you relate, but the last Green Lantern thing we really read for this pod was Blackest Night,
Yep.
which was very horror inspired and kind of off putting. And this was like honestly more of what I wanted from that. Like this
I was
was,
thinking the exact same thing.
yeah, dude, this thing, the shit with Hal was very very well done. The atmosphere was great. The scene with the cop I thought was a really like crazy panel, or even the stuff in the diner, and I flew through this one the fastest out of all of them.
I
Oh
would
yeah,
agree with that.
I don't know if it was my favorite, but I was like the most interested, like you said, Jalen. I was flying through this thing. I was like, what's going on here?
yeah. I kind of like to piggyback off your point too. I love like the horror vibe. Like I truly love the
Yeah.
atmosphere and like how you feel, how scared and terrified Hal actually is to have this. And like part of me was like talking to the screen, like, why do you keep going into these populated areas and putting yourself in these situations to cause harm to these people or kill these people in these
Yeah.
cases? But at the
Yeah.
same time, it's kind of like if you were in his state of mind, what would you do? And that's that moment you would just kind of go looking for help and looking for any sense of normalcy that you can. And then like the panel where it finally gets unleashed and you just see it wreaking havoc on this diner. It was amazing, man.
I thought it was crazy that he was already like begging for death and for this thing to have him killed. And then like it can't be that long after it happened where he got taken over.
Yeah.
5 days.
It
5
just
days, I
really
believe.
shows the
Um,
like
Yeah.
that's a crazy pivot for Hal, and I thought it was kind of like Parallax but better.
Yeah.
It's a really cool way
It was really neat.
to twist that. Sam, how do you feel about this one? I don't know if you've read more of all of these.
I've been lacking on the Green Lantern one. I only read the first one, so I'm gonna have to take Jalen's word for it. But I'm really liking that for a lot of these they're going a lot of like sort of like horror cosmic elements, because I feel like a lot of DC works really well with the cosmic element, especially with where Wonder maybe I guess Wonder Woman, but where Martian Manhunter is like going. I think that like that's going to be my favorite part, is like them diving heavy into it. So I'm excited to see the direction that like Green Lantern goes. So that's going to be my thing. But I think that like, should we? Which one do we want to move over to now?
I'm gonna say Martian Manhunter for the end because I really got the most to say.
Let's
maybe
do
about that.
Superman.
Superman.
All right, Superman.
We've been talking about Superman so much, so this is a nice little.
What'd you say, Josh?
We've been talking about Superman a lot,
Yeah.
man. Every week for.
And
a
I
couple
like
months
the
now.
Superman.
You do, okay.
Yeah.
get me into this one, Jackson. What was this? The Superman
Yeah, I mean,
one?
this one kind of basically the big changes made to this is that it kind of creates like it frames Krypton as a place where it has like very defined classes. It's the classes are kind of always pinned against each other, and the Superman logo is representative of the lowest. I think the lowest class.
Which was cool. I really liked that change.
That's sick, and that's what I'm saying. I liked all the world building in this one. There's not that much plot progression in this compared to maybe like Batman or some of the other ones, but I liked the changes they were making. I thought it was really interesting. And then you get back to Earth and it's kind of dealing with similar themes. And there's like a whole Peacemaker core for some fucking
Hmm.
reason. Um, but I really liked all the world building in this.
Yeah, so did I. I thought the opening with Krypton was my favorite part, and then it kind of transitioned to the stuff in Brazil.
Yeah.
Jason Aaron wrote this one. He did
Oh,
the
really? I didn't even catch that.
yeah, he did the Thor run that
Dude,
everyone
he
really
did a
liked.
great Thor run. He also did a really killer Doctor Strange run, which I think is pretty underrated. If you're a Doctor Strange fan, Jason Aaron's run on that I think came out like around the time the first movie dropped. It's really fucking killer, and you should give it a read.
But this is one of his biggest forays into DC, and I thought it was a cool start. Yet, like I said, Jack, like you said, I liked a lot of the world building. I thought how they portrayed Superman was cool, and
Yeah.
it kind of reminded me of modern Supergirl with her being a little more angry and
Yeah.
abrasive and stuff like that. The stuff with the suit was really interesting, and then I'm curious to see where it goes because we don't really know why Superman is how he is.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, that's
they
what I'm
haven't
saying. I'm
revealed that
excited.
portion
This is
of it.
one that makes me. I didn't. I feel like a fucking idiot for not even realizing Jason Aaron wrote that because he's a comic writer that I really like. I'll seek him out sometimes. Like
Hmm.
I fuck with him a lot. His Mighty Thor run with Gore the God Butcher
Yeah,
is so good. It's so good. If you have not read that run, I know we're talking about DC right now, but if you haven't read his Thor run, it's fucking killer.
yeah, they should make a movie about that
They
too.
should do Loki. That would make a great movie.
Jalen, you said
Shame
this
they
was
haven't
one of your
tried.
you said this was one of your weaker ones, right?
Yeah, yeah. There was kind of like the Flash. Other than there wasn't really anything that drew me to this version of Superman. The suit stuff was really cool, but and I'm gonna be honest, I really don't have too much to say about this specific version, except for one thing that truly stood out to me in this one, and was like a really big positive was the art style. I think
Gorgeous.
Hmm.
out of all of these, I think this art style and the Martian Manhunter art style stood out to me the most. But I
Oh, interesting.
love how smooth and how kind of like realistic it almost felt and it almost appeared. And kind of like how Jackson said, this story felt like it was more about world building than establishing who Clark Kal-El Superman is, right? Which I appreciated in a sense because you truly did feel how grand this world was. I do feel like stuff like the Peacemaker core was like really random and obviously was capitalizing on the fact that Peacemaker is one of the most popular characters in DC right now. Which and then along with
Hmm.
Superman, who is maybe who is the second most popular DC character, capitalizing on that. But other than that, man, the thing that I can sing the praises to for this specific issue is that art style, and also is ironically enough, I think I was more drawn to Jor-El and Kal-El's parents more in this than I was to Kal-El, which is
Yeah,
something that I've
Well, I
never
think we
really.
got more of them though.
Yeah, yeah,
we
exactly.
did.
That's what I'm
We
saying.
did.
Like that's something that I haven't
Yeah.
really had before. So yeah, I mean, I didn't rock with this one as much. I liked it more than the Flash for sure, but I didn't rock with this one as much as I did the other four. But that art style, man, that art style is like killer, dude.
Yeah, the hook wasn't as much for this one as some
I
of the
agree.
other ones, and that's where I'm excited to read more, but I'm like also I don't know what I'm really latching on to, and that's funny too because they had like post credit scenes pretty much at the end of this where they were setting up Brainiac and
Yeah.
like Lois Lane, which was also interesting that she's a soldier, but that's cool because it ties into her father
Yep.
and stuff like that. So, Sam, did you enjoy this one?
Oh yeah. Speaking on what you just said, my favorite part of the Absolute Superman is definitely the Absolute Brainiac. How they like
Yeah.
change Brainiac as like a. Did any of you guys did any of you guys like read farther?
No, I've only read issue 1.
Okay, all right. Like again, the origin they turn to is like it's pretty much horrifying. This like absolute brainiac. So I can't go into much, but like the way that they do it is such a well done thing because usually like Brainiac is seen as like this cold, calculating, just collector of things throughout DC, whereas this one is like a psychotic, like just like his brain has been like mashed together and he like it's like if you I think the best way to put it is um this character from Invincible, Angstrom Levy, like you know how his
Oh, yeah,
mind
yeah.
just gets like
Yeah.
smashed together and
Yeah.
it's like a bunch of different versions. That's kind of what this Brainiac is. It's just like everything
interesting.
is just like pounding in his head, and I love it that like the amount of like intelligence that he has is like kind of like just like constantly overloading him, and he constantly needs to like try and fix things. And it's a stellar take on it.
That sounds rad, dude. Maybe I
Yeah.
will have to hop back into this one soon. Jackson, do you think they're gonna have absolute Gus Gorman soon?
Low key, I was thinking about that. I really hope so.
You really hope so. He's just like insanely jacked and still looks like Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Absolute Wonder Woman. I'm gonna touch on really quick. I don't know if I have a ton to say about this one.
This
Kelly
was
Thompson.
Alright.
Kelly Thompson wrote this one.
Yeah.
Birds of Prey. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It felt like Batman, where I was just like, Wonder Woman's so cool, and I loved
Yeah.
what they did with her new origin of sending her to hell. It was very interesting because that changes her upbringing completely and will change how she is personality wise.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
want to see more of it because again, I felt like a little bit of a tease where some of these other
Yes,
ones
but
felt more
I
complete.
think just the origin of having her be from hell is kind of hard as fuck. Like
Yeah.
that's so fucking rad.
It is, and the suit design.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Oh,
That's
don't get me started, man.
my favorite suit design of the absolute ones. I think. I thought that was just rad.
Yeah, it's like her and Batman were just. I'm excited that they're apparently crossing over in December because
Oh, really? Well,
it's just
aren't
gonna
they,
be
okay? So I heard that they're, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess they're kind of building towards a big event where this crosses over with the mainline DC.
no
continuity.
kidding, really.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what
I
I've heard.
heard-
So
I heard they were building towards Absolute Justice League, and there's an Absolute Green Arrow run coming out later on this year.
yeah, there is a Green Arrow one.
Okay, I'm excited for that. Then it'll be very. Yeah, that'll be cool. I think. I just want to see these characters cross over. I don't even care about them crossing over with the main DC line. I just want to see like Superman and Absolute Batman and Wonder Woman and all them because it's going to be a lot of different molds with Wonder Woman too. I don't remember. Did they set up really a big villain or anything for her to fight?
I didn't catch
I
it.
think they
Yeah,
have.
it was just kind of
whatever
setting
that-
up her origin, pretty much.
Whatever that thing is that she was fighting, I guess maybe
Yeah.
the grander gods. You know what I mean? Probably Zeus, since
Yeah.
he took out the entire nation of Themyscira. Which I found the fact that she was raised by Cersei super interesting because she's never,
It was
her
cool.
her and Cersei are more like evil stepsisters in most runs. So to have her be raised by Cersei and to still like, have her come from, the underworld, but still every single creature, every single demonic creature that she meets, she still causes them to kind of she still brings out the good in every demonic creature she meets. Literally speaks I think more to Wonder Woman in some than some stories in the main timeline have, of where she's not as big of a symbol for hope as Superman is, but Wonder Woman does have that ability to instill,
Yeah,
to bring out the good in the people around her, and to bring out that fighting spirit, you know what I mean, in the people in the people around her. And this showed that to a T, man. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was a very smart changing of her, but still kept it
agreed.
integral to her character.
Well, and I think that kind of sums up a lot of these in general. Is like they managed to find a way to contort and change the circumstances in which these characters were raised, but they still
Feel like
like
themselves.
that's exactly it.
Yeah,
And I think that's impressive. That's
it
really
is.
impressive.
Last one here I really wanted to get
This one
into,
fucking
because this
rules.
was my favorite, was Absolute Martian Manhunter. It is
Oh yeah,
very trippy. It is very
Dude, the art style.
existential out there. John Jones is the detective, and he's just like going through it the whole time because he was just recently in an explosion, and obviously Martian Manhunter and fire
yeah,
does not mix well, and so he's like recalibrating everything, and just yeah, like you said, it's it's probably some of the most creative art that we're getting from comics. It's
yeah.
it's
It
so
reminded me
rad.
kind of like it's a very different art style, but just in terms of how abstract it got, it reminded me of the Paul Dano Riddler comic,
Oh yeah, yeah.
which is if
Okay.
you haven't read that, that is some seriously good comics. Like if you're a fan of the Batman, you're gonna fucking eat that up. It's a really great comic book.
hmm But I
Mhm.
loved just again how they portrayed Martian Manhunter and his psyche, and how his mind is just constantly going. It was very Doctor Manhattan-y
Mm-hmm.
of how they. Jalen, how
It
did you
did
feel
feel
about this
Watchmen
one?
esque.
This felt the most artist like it felt the most indie, if that makes sense. How you were just
Yeah.
jumping around to different parts of John Jones' life, and how you were kind of tripping out like how he
hmm
was. The thing that intrigued me the most, and the thing that I'm still not fully clear on, is he possessed? Is he, is this just like a
Do you want
psychotic
me to answer
break?
that?
Don't answer
Because
it
I can answer
just
that.
because this is the one that I'm going to definitely follow. I think the one this is the one that I'm the most likely to follow along with Batman. But I am interested to see the answer to that though, and it was so cool, like that art style. I like honestly, bro, out loud, I said to myself as soon as I
Mm.
opened up that first panel, I was like, this is gonna be Jackson and Josh's favorite. I don't know if it's Jackson's favorite,
Yeah,
but like I had a
it's
Probably
feeling.
not.
was. I think that was probably
Yeah,
my favorite of the ones that I read.
Yeah,
yeah, I had a
dude,
feeling, man,
lock.
but it was so good.
Did look? I feel like it's gonna be the one that's gonna stick with me the most, and it's gonna be the one that stands out the most. And
Yeah,
I didn't read it as him being possessed. I just read it as him going through this incident and his mind being scrambled, and him just kind of refiguring out
that's
everything and
really
getting back
interesting.
to. It is. It's so cool how they even set up like his family life, and the one shot with his son
So cool,
where, oh dude, I'm just
juicy.
like,
I say I might want to pick up a physical of some of these.
well, because I wanted to do the Martian Manhunter vision thing, but
Yeah,
it was on my phone, so I
I
couldn't.
saw that and I was like, "Fuck!" I need to go. I might go to my comic store tomorrow and just see
Do
what
you
I
know
can
how
find.
dumb I was? I dead ass debated holding my phone up to a
That's
light to
so fucking funny.
see,
No, I wanted to see, bro. That
to
was
see if
sick.
it was. Did you read this one physical, Sam, or
No,
no?
I did not get to read it physical because the comic shop near me, didn't have like a
Hmm.
physical of it. Have, I, I have the comic books just somewhere in my closet of like the first two issues, I think.
Yeah.
Just the way that they like explore, they're exploring everything, like just like from like an exterior point of view. Like you have John, and then you have John, right? And it's like he's like looking at things from not a human like perspective. He's looking at them from like an outside looking in kind of thing, and it makes him like question all these things. So like I think the best example is if you like thing like characters like the Question especially, then you're going
Hmm.
to love Martian Manhunter in like the Absolute series, because it's just like it's exploring all these different topics like guilt, innocence, like trauma, what it like. I think I had like I made like a note before we started the podcast. Where is it?
Yeah, I mean I agree with you
Like
though. It's
yeah,
very
like it's.
very
I
out
think
there.
it's gonna push the boundaries like the most, and I think even though it's pushing the boundaries, a lot of people are still going to like it because of the way that it's done. It does it so well. So I'm really excited to see where they're going, especially with like the newest issue that like came out recently. Awesome! Can't wait to see where it goes from there.
Yeah, shout out Javier Rodriguez who does the art for this one because holy shit,
And
dude.
also, just a heads up in case anybody here might find this interesting. In November, I'm looking on it again. All right, this is a little bit of a tangent, but there's an app called Comic Geeks. It's basically Letterbox for comics.
Cool.
Oh, okay.
It's a really good app. I highly recommend it. You can kind of you can just scan the barcode of a physical comic. You can write down that you own it on the app. You can say that you've read it.
Mhm.
But on the app, it's saying that there's on November 18th, there's going to be a trade paperback of the first volume of Absolute Martian Manhunter. So if you don't want to pick
Ooh.
up the singles, you'll be able to get a trade paperback in November. Just in case you find that if you find that interesting.
Oh, I already
Oh,
want
I
to
like
start
that.
collecting
Okay.
like, all of these, dude.
Huh?
After
Yeah.
I want to start collecting all these after reading them.
That's what I'm saying. I might just wait and get some of the trade paperbacks of these.
I agree. Mhm.
It's
I'm too
more.
far behind. We're too far behind.
Well, we're too far behind, and that's way more economical. I think
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken, let me double check, but I'm pretty sure they already have an Absolute Batman
That'd be cool.
trade paperback. Give me like 1 sec to confirm this.
I think they do.
Absolute Batman. All right. Yeah, so they do have. Actually, it comes out in like a week. So
Sick.
August 5th, the first trade paperback for Absolute Batman will come out. I don't know how much that collects, but it says it's 176 pages. I don't know how many issues that is though.
Well, that's good.
First,
Apparently,
first
okay,
six.
one through six.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. First six. I was about to say it's normally first six recently.
Okay.
All right, cool. So, if you're interested in collecting the trade paperbacks, because obviously, like, go support your local comic shops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love physical media. Physical media is so cool. That's my
Physical
tangent.
media.
Let's get back to Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, I mean, I said my piece. I just think I really loved the art. I loved everything they were setting up. Why don't we just do a broad final thoughts and then maybe like a ranking if you could do it really quick.
Okay.
Jalen, I'll start with you, man.
Amazing. Aura filled, bro. I'm so excited to see where these storylines go. I actually have two questions for you guys before you answer what Josh's question was.
Yeah.
Your final thoughts. One, what do you think the Green Arrow twist is gonna be? And two, what is another character who you want an absolute version of, aside from who we've already gotten and who's confirmed?
Absolute Gus Gorman.
Yes.
Honestly, I would say like
Mark
my
Miller.
gut reaction with Green Arrow would just be make him broke, but they kind of just did that with Batman, so I think they're gonna have to do something different.
That's what I had the same thought, Jackson.
You can't do that twice.
I make him not care about politics. I don't know. I hope he's.
Well, but they usually change the circumstances, not like the actual characterization too much, right?
Right. I hope he's just weirder in a way. Like if he's just a standard dude, I don't know if that's as interesting. I'd like him to do something a little different with his.
When does Absolute Green Arrow drop?
I have no clue.
I think next year. Well, maybe later this year.
Oh, really? I'm sure Comic Geeks will tell me. Give me 1 sec.
But yeah, Jalen, as far as characters that I'd want to see, I don't know, dude. Do you have any off the top of your head?
2026.
Absolute Blue Beetle would be like such a horror masterclass, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I was leaning in that direction. I think the one that I would want to see is like a techno organic, like really like fused together cyborg, right? like how he deals with the whole thing about him being like a machine, like really delve really deep into that because they touch on it in like the original Teen Titans, but I feel like if they make it more like horrific, really like amp up the whole thing with him being like trying to resist the whole being taken over by like machine kind of thing, maybe I feel like that would be a pretty cool thing, like grappling with his identity, right? Because I do feel like because compare because I feel like a lot of people forget is that the original design for Cyborg was that he was a lot more man than machine, and then they
Yeah,
started covering him up more. And I feel like if they brought it back to him grappling with being like almost half and half, or maybe like the machine starts to like try and take over more of his body after like the experiment goes like wrong, like at Star Labs. I feel
Yeah.
like that'd be such a cool thing about how he grapples with like losing himself. I think that'd be awesome.
I'd like to see an absolute team, and not in the sense of like I want to see these guys be a Justice League. I'd like to see like absolute Doom Patrol or absolute Teen Titans or
yeah,
absolute New
Ooh,
Gods.
okay.
Like, what does a group
that's
setting look
interesting.
like in terms of instead of just like one character getting their fate shifted?
Yeah,
Doom Patrol would be really cool, especially just
Doom Patrol
because.
would be neat.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's sick. Jalen though, you gotta give me a little ranking if you have one
Okay,
of
so
which one's your favorite, least favorite.
number one, absolute Batman. Number two, Martian Manhunter.
Mm,
Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Superman, Flash.
I like that.
I think I agree with that like verbatim, but I would swap Batman and Martian Manhunter.
Yeah. Um,
Um,
Sam, any closing thoughts?
I think
Ranking?
I'd probably put Martian Manhunter as like the top because it's going to be it's the most interesting. Batman is probably going to be number two. Third is I'm definitely not biased here. The one Wonder Woman. I feel like Superman and Flash they kind of got their own thing. I feel like there could be like some more, and I haven't touched on enough to really like say about the absolute Green Lantern. I am curious to see what Green Arrow does because I don't know how a man with a bow and arrow is gonna like face mutated threats like all the other heroes have been facing of their like regular villains. But yeah, I'm interested to see where it's gonna go.
Yeah. Um, I have a pretty similar ranking, probably Martian Manhunter, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Superman, Flash. It's pretty good. I
Yeah,
think my one takeaway is that I'm glad we did this because I would not have checked out all these books
Yes.
probably for a while, and
yeah,
so even though we only just dipped our toes in all of them, now I like am ready to, when I have the spare time, in the next couple of weeks, catch up on a lot of these. I just don't know which one I'm gonna pick first,
Mm.
So yeah, this was a good one. I'm glad we did this. Let's do some news. Superman box office had a $24 million domestic third weekend, which is cool. The big thing: 292 domestic, 214 international for a $506 million worldwide. That was the benchmark I wanted to hit, and I
yeah,
feel like satisfied with that. If we
yeah.
get
Yeah.
higher, that's fantastic.
If he
I
can
think
show me,
Warner Bros is going to be happy too. So
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's doing it about as well as it needed to.
yeah.
The big thing we learned this week is that it's now the highest solo Superman movie domestically, which means it beat Man of Steel
I'm
domestically.
very happy about that. I'm very happy about
But
that.
I don't think it's touching its worldwide total because its
No.
worldwide total was like 670 or something. So, but yeah, box office. We probably won't touch on it too much in the coming weeks, but it's not the most exciting thing ever, but it's like where everyone wanted it to be
Yeah.
Yeah,
projection wise. The other thing I just wanted to really quick mention is that we talked about that Hall of Justice mural, and James Gunn released that full version
Yep.
of it. We saw some
yeah.
new characters in there that we hadn't thought we saw. So Jalen definitely did some digging and got a lot of those names down.
Yeah.
And it was really cool to see all the variations. But yeah, I'm curious who if they're gonna bring all those characters in for like a JSA thing, or if they're just gonna like be little Easter eggs. We'll see
Yeah.
where they take that. Right after we stopped recording last week, they announced that David Jenkins, who wrote a lot of Our Flag Means Death, is writing the Booster Gold pilot. I haven't
Oh,
seen the
okay.
show, but that is good news that like a show is getting a writer and it's moving forward, because we kind of didn't know where this one was at for a
Yeah.
while.
Meaning that Booster Gold will probably be next after Lanterns in like 2027 ish. If they're
Probably.
just writing, they're not casting and shooting for a
Mhm.
while, and there's no way that comes out next year, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to
Okay.
think of the other show in terms of live action shows. It might be the next one. Yeah,
Yeah, because
after
Waller and
Lanterns.
Paradise Lost haven't moved forward as far as I've
Nope.
known.
Yeah.
And a lot of the other shows are animated,
Yeah.
because we're getting like Blue Beetle next year, or late next year, early 27 probably, but that's an animated thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, Booster Gold. I always thought that they were working on it. They had those Kumail Nanjiani rumors. Those were proven false. So
Yeah.
I think they were kind of looking around at things, but now it's finally gaining momentum. Speaking of scripts, the Teen Titans one doesn't exist
I
apparently.
was
according
so
to-
devastated
Well,
when
it
I heard
wasn't-
that.
It
It was
it
never
just-
officially like
I know.
announced.
I'm gonna say it's not that it doesn't exist. It's just that it's Gunn prioritized Wonder Woman, which I think is a smart thing to do.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well,
Which is
the way
really
he
good.
phrased it was that people were asking about how her script was, Anna Nagara, because the report came out that she was writing it, but Teen Titans has never been talked about in an official capacity. And he
Yeah.
said that like it doesn't exist, that she hasn't been writing it, which might
He said he never
might
saw
mean
a
that
draft.
she's like not on it though.
No, that is not at all what I got from what he said. I'm
feel like though if she
adamantly
was,
disagree with you here.
I feel like if she was on it though, he would have said like, yeah, she's working on that too, but Wonder Woman's a priority.
That's
He's,
basically what he
it
said,
made-
though.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
like
yeah.
what he said.
Is that what he said? It made it
That's
seem
basically
like
I
what
think
he
I
said.
interpreted it that way, but like,
Yeah, that is.
I also
absolutely
like
correct.
when I heard that when he say that, I was like, oh, there's no Teen Titans. Oh,
He said
Like he specifically responded to someone who like asked if it was a thing, and he just said that that they were prioritizing Wonder Woman.
Then I misread it, because I thought
Yeah.
what he was saying is that she wasn't on it at all.
No,
and that
that's
she was
not
doing
what he
Wonder
said.
Woman instead. Okay, so it's just like
I mean
not.
that report came from Deadline, the Teen Titans thing. So like she's on that project. It's just I think
Good.
it's smart to do Wonder Woman first.
yeah. I feel like
if they're fast tracking it, of course.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sam. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I feel like, especially with like the DCEU Wonder Woman, I feel like and just like we haven't really the Wonder Woman video game was canceled. I feel like they need to do Wonder Woman like justice like really well, because
Mhm.
especially with Wonder Woman 84, that doesn't exist. It was like to put it plainly, it was not good. I do feel like they need to do well with Wonder Woman, because like she's such an underutilized like character in a lot of like DC media, in that she is literally like, when you think of like three DC characters into like the main DC trio, you think Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman.
Right.
That's at least what I think of when I think DC. And I feel like they've kind of, for the longest time, pushed her off to the side and focused just, and for good reason, because they're literally the two of the most popular characters in existence. But
Yeah.
I feel like Wonder Woman could be very, very popular if they just actually pushed her a little bit more to the audience.
Yeah.
But she has a lot of appealing things to like a huge number of demographics. So like I feel like they could easily make bank if they just decided to take a little bit of a risk and be like, hey, let's push her forward. So I think doing this Wonder Woman movie, and like obviously James Gunn has like a lot of like trust in I forget what's her name, because she's also like writing the Teen Titans one, and like she's never written like anything big before, so clearly he has a lot of trust in her. So hopefully that means that it's going to be like exceptional, right?
Yeah, I got the faith, man. Supergirl's looking good.
I'm
I
very
trust
excited for
the-
Supergirl.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
am like, especially with like the whole thing in Superman.
Mhm.
I can't wait for that.
my big question here maybe is that with kind of the Batman Part Two being the one coming out soon, Brave and the Bold script, we don't know what's going on. Is there a chance that the Wonder Woman movie happens before we get our Batman answer of like what is going on there?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I
Oh
mean,
I
yeah.
think,
I don't think I don't think we're gonna see a Wonder Woman movie in theaters before we get the answer, but like I could see it going into production before.
I actually feel like they're trying to push Wonder Woman for 2027 to
It could
release with
happen.
part
Yeah.
two of Batman, and then Brave and the Bold
Mhm.
will more than likely be 2028 or 2029. Unfortunately,
Mhm.
but I don't think they're releasing Batman Brave and the Bold and Batman Part Two in the same year, even if it gets done. Even if the script gets done
Yeah.
early. I just don't think they'll do two Batman movies in 1 year from two separate universes. That just wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it would just confuse a lot of people. Although I am curious what you guys think. Do you think that they're actually going to put like Battison into like into the main DC like film universe? Do you think he's going to be the Batman? Because I saw some theory online saying that what's going to
Oh,
happen is that they're
we've
going to
talked about
like
this to depths.
yeah.
Yeah, it's been the ever growing debate. I mean, even this week, James Gunn was like, "That's not the plan right now." I'm like, "You
Just
fucking
say
guy, man."
something at that point, bro. I
Just
just like, yeah, just say
I don't think
something.
they know. I don't think
They,
they know.
I don't think
I
they've
honestly don't
decided.
think. I don't think. I don't think they have a definitive answer on it. So, like, I'm just not going to bother speculating on it until it seems like they have a more definitive plan.
Mhm.
yeah. So, um,
Trailers?
couple trailers here. We'll knock them out. I don't know if I have. We'll see what we say about both of them. Or Aztec Batman Clash of
Yeah, I have
Empires.
nothing to say about this.
I have a couple things.
Okay.
One, this has been around since like 2022. It was like intended for HBO Max two name changes ago, like before Max, before
Oh,
HBO
wow.
Max, like in their Latin American division. And I was like, okay, that's a really cool thing. Let's see some cultural
Yeah,
filmmakers work on this thing.
that's cool.
And then it just kept not coming out, and I kept hearing about it. I'm like, where is this thing? I keep track of a lot of like lost DC stuff,
Oh,
and
I
so
know
I
you
thought
do.
this could be like lost media or something like that. But no, it's finally coming out. I knew it was coming out this year. The two things. One, I was a little disappointed with the art style. I thought you
Yeah,
were gonna
that's
go a
kind of
little
what lost
different,
me.
and it was very cheap looking in a way that made me sad. Even though I think the new twist on the origin is
That's
predictable but
cool.
also fun. Like it's cool to see how they do Two Face and Joker and all that. My other thing is that the direct to DVD movies have been around for a long time
Long
now,
time.
and we always kind of have a sense of like which ones are coming out at the start of the year, and this is the last one that we know about. So unless more get announced, this is like
The
the
end.
end of the era.
Yeah,
And it feels like they're just it feels like the end of the DCU where they're just kind of putting this one out and
it's
Batman
going
Ninja
out with
2.
a fizzle.
Yeah, and I'm excited for it though cuz Batman Ninja 2 I wasn't super excited about. We ended up covering that one and
Yeah.
I had a blast with it. So I think this one's going to be a fun if we do an episode on it. A really cool watch. I don't know, Jalen, did you watch this trailer?
I did. Kind of like how you said, it was the animation for me that really pulled me
It's
out.
rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very rough compared to everything else they've done at this point, especially because like this was my favorite medium for a while over the Arrowverse and over the DCEU was the DC animated, original movies that they did, just because they
Mhm.
adapted comic storylines like from the page. They rarely took liberties in these types of movies, but I loved that aspect of them. Like especially when they're done right, like Under the Red Hood and I don't know if I'm in the minority on this. I've seen both sides, but I actually really like the Flashpoint Paradox movie. That movie was really good when
I
I was
It's
a
love that.
good.
kid.
It's great.
Yeah. I really, really,
Do
really love
people
that
not
movie.
like that?
I've heard a lot of people say they hated it. Yeah, so
This is a surprise to me. Like
that was
I thought it was like
exactly
one of the best animated movies. Like
exactly that was like kind of my thoughts too. Was like I thought it was one of the best, most well made. I mean, I cried, and I was like only 11 years old when that movie
yeah,
came out, man. But it's an interesting story to say the least. But it it just feels like, I mean, obviously we'll watch it for the pod and we'll have an episode about it and people will get to see like our full extended thoughts and hopefully it proves us wrong. Like hopefully we're like, man, yeah, that was really rad. That
Yeah.
was really cool. There were some really cool moments. I like the, you know, I still don't necessarily know how I feel about the whole Aztec side of things. I hope they really portray that in the best way possible.
Right, because it could come off very
Yeah, it could come off very
stereotypical.
insensitive and all that
Mhm.
other great stuff. But yeah, no, I'm really excited to cover it for the pod. I just hope that they continue, which I mean, I know they technically will continue with like Dynamic Duo, and I'm sure they have some other stuff in the pipeline, but it's all theatrical and then straight to DVD. So we'll see.
Yeah, I love the straight to DVD stuff. I've always thought those were, even when they're misses, I like that they make them. I just wish they went to HBO Max instead of VOD because they always charge like 25
Yeah.
bucks. So I either have to,
Exactly.
go, alternative methods or wait for it to drop in price because I'm not shelling out $20, bro. I'm sorry. The other trailer here, Peacemaker, came out at Comic-Con. This was James Gunn stuck to his words. This was the only thing they covered at Comic-Con. I thought he was going to be bullshitting and like maybe have some Supergirl stuff or lanterns or anything.
Yeah.
No, just Peacemaker.
Honestly, I think that's smart.
Yeah.
You think so?
I think so. Because
'Cause
I
I
think
would have
I mean,
loved to
look,
see Supergirl
I
stuff,
want to
bro.
see stuff from Supergirl, bro. But I think Superman letting Superman ride the hype a little bit more, especially because
Yeah,
this
have its
seems to be
moment.
following up Superman in a very direct way.
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
think that's a terrible idea because I don't. I mean, if you read the Supergirl comic, I don't think that's going to be following up Superman. I mean, whether or not he's in it, we've argued about that, but like, regardless, I don't think that's going to be following up Superman story wise in a very direct manner at all.
Yeah,
Peacemaker clearly is. So I get riding the wave a little bit, but I quite like this trailer. I'm excited.
yeah.
I
It
am very
didn't
excited.
reveal a ton more that I didn't know. We're gonna go into this pocket universe where
Yeah,
Peacemaker's loved and everything's good, and his father and his brother aren't
which is a fun use of the
Nazis.
multiverse. It's kind of
It
refreshing to
is,
have like a
yeah.
personal stake.
And then we have Rick Flag Senior chasing him down, which we knew about. And it's just
Mhm.
it was a very everything was good. The jokes were flowing. Things were looking
Yeah,
good. I like
it was
his
a better
new.
trailer than the first one.
Yeah, I agree with
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It was more touching than the first. The first one kind of felt a little off. I think the Green Lantern Hawk Girl stuff kind of froze off the first
It
trailer because
did.
it's an extended bit, whether you like it or not. Yeah, this one was cool, man. I watched it literally right before we recorded, and I had a good time. I kind of know exactly what I'm going to get out of this season, so I feel
Yes.
like
Yeah.
unless there's going to be weird James Gunn stuff, but I kind of know
Right.
how I'm going to feel about it, which is I'm going to like it just how
Yeah.
I like the first season. How about you, Jalen?
I am in the minority here, man. I did not rock with it.
Didn't like it?
I didn't like it. I am,
Did you like the first
and
one?
I did not like the first trailer
Oh yeah,
either.
that's right. That's right.
So I think the show is just and like I said, I hope it wins me over. I think I'm just ready to since this is continuing on from the old universe, it still feels a little weird to me. Seeing all these
I agree.
characters from the old universe be implemented into the new universe, like they, and all this other stuff. I think I'm just ready to get to like the new stuff, like Lantern, Supergirl. Those are my two most anticipated. And Clayface is growing for me just because I love what they're doing with the story and I love what they're trying to do. But it I'm sure it will win me over. I'm sure the show will be good. It'll be funny at the very least, and it'll probably have some really dope action
Mm.
scenes. I think, like I said, I think I'm just ready to get to like the full DCU stuff, and also it is a fun use of the multiverse. I just wish we kind of weren't doing it. It's just a personal thing. I just don't think these trailers have been for me. Nothing has really stood out and been like, okay, yeah, that's rad. Like I really, really, really want to see the show now. It's not that, and then like I've watched it a few times and I've tried to like get that excitement. You know what I mean? But I think I'm just so ready for like
You're just not
my
there.
brain is my brain is already on Lanterns and Supergirl hype that I'm just like there. and I'm not with Peacemaker as much. But like I said, I am completely open to the show changing my mind, and I'm sure it will once we start watching, once we get fully in depth into the story and see how it plays out and how it connects to Superman. And if we get a Superman appearance like we're thinking we will in the show, I'll be very excited for that as well.
Yeah.
It really is the one big DCU straggler that's kind of everything else feels very forward momentum, and this one
Yeah.
feels like,
I can't
oh
even
yeah,
like at
James
this
Gunn's.
point. I just don't give a shit. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like Peacemaker is just not big enough of a character for me to really give a fuck.
Oh, about
Mhm.
like how it's old. I think it's
Yeah.
just like in terms of excitement, it's not like
Oh yeah, yeah.
it's
No,
been
I mean
3 years.
I'm more excited for Supergirl and shit, but like
Yeah.
I enjoy a good Peacemaker, and I think we'll probably get a lot of really interesting world building out of it too. And like I think the show has it has good heart. You know, the jokes are hit or miss, but like I watch an episode and I'm laughing at least semi constantly. Like I'm getting consistent laughs out of me, even if not all the jokes land. But um, yeah, I mean it's going to be a fun time, and
It
I'm
will.
glad a show like this exists in the DCU more than anything because I think that's going to help really have like a diverse palette of stuff.
Yes, but also it is kind of the same vein as Creature Commandos, so I don't. It
Yeah,
doesn't feel
sure,
like
but that has like
that
a
much
lot
of
of
a deviation.
stylistic different. And I would also argue Creature Commandos leans way less on comedy than Peacemaker
Then,
does.
mm,
And it
yeah,
also has like the it's animated, right? So
yeah,
it
right.
has like that different visual medium. Yes, it is in a similar flavor, but like I think Peacemaker is still a very different show, and I would also argue like narratively they're very different. Like Creature Commandos is very much a show about pieces of shit who kind of stay pieces of shit the whole time,
Yeah,
and I think Peacemaker is interesting just because it shows that kind of evolution. Like the characters in Creature Commandos are pretty stagnant, and that's not the case in Peacemaker. Um, Also, the multiverse stuff does intrigue me. I wasn't really on board with it at first, but like
now you are.
I am because like I think I'm fucking sick of it. I'm like just to put it bluntly, but like if
So
we're
am I.
using it for actual like character purposes, I'm completely down with that. I think the setup of like a universe where he's in love with Harcourt's kind of fun. Uh, his dad is still alive there. I think all that stuff is really interesting, and I think knowing Gunn as a storyteller, he's really going to hone in on the characters, which I think is important because like Marvel's just doing it to bring back fucking Patrick
Yeah,
Stewart out of the fucking
right.
retirement home. Like I'm glad here we're doing something that's based in character rather than like a sense of nostalgia.
Yeah, it kind of feels like the let me Arrowverse you here, but like the Arrowverse when it first had the multiverse kind of did it a lot, and they went a little overboard, and then in the later half, it just was around, and like they
Yeah,
used it for certain story things, but it wasn't like a crux. And so I'm
yeah.
hoping that's what the DCU kind of has, where it's like it's around, but you don't need to like
Which I
use it
fuck with.
as your
I
focal
fuck
point.
with them not like because like the especially because I honestly feel like at least you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I associate the multiverse with DC much more than Marvel in my head. And maybe that's just because I watched those CW shows, but and like I was familiar with Crisis and all that shit, like Flashpoint,
Well, that was the first big multiverse thing in general was
Yeah,
Crisis.
that's what I'm
So
saying. So like
DC
I don't mind.
DC also uses
Sorry.
the crisis. DC uses the multiverse every single time it wants to reboot. So they use it
every
every
single
10
time. Oh
years.
my.
Yes.
So yeah, I could definitely see how you would attribute the multiverse more to DC than
So it's like
Marvel.
I'm fine with it just being there, and I'm glad that they're leaning into it as a device for storytelling rather than a device to bring back like fucking
Yes.
Christian Bale or some stupid shit,
Hmm. Until Will Smith's Deadshot pops out of
Let's
a portal.
go. Also, an interesting tidbit on Peacemaker. I've been listening to the podcast that they've been doing.
Are they good?
Uh, yeah, no, it's fun. But at the end of every episode, they kind of go through what's considered canon and what's not canon. I mean, it's very simple. Like in the first episode, he's like, "Yeah, the Aquaman mentions probably not, but like everything else seems to be." So like, it's
So
really
the
just I think
chef
minor details.
So the
Sorry.
Justice League stuff that's not canon at the end. Did they explicitly
Yeah.
say that? Or okay.
No.
Yeah. I
He
mean,
said that a while ago,
the
though.
only two things he explicitly said were not canon in the first two episodes was the Batmite name drop of all things, and because I think he's gonna want to introduce Batmite probably, and then also the Aquaman mention. So like Harley Quinn was mentioned in those first two, and Bloodsport was from Suicide Squad. So if we are to take his word from this podcast, both of those characters exist.
Cool. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me who exists or not exists. Just depends like when they use them as in stories
Yeah, I
and
thought that was an
whatnot. But it
interesting
is
thing to point
interesting.
out. I would like to see Idris Elba again because I did really like him in that role.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll see Margot Robbie Harley Quinn at some point
Yeah,
whenever they can lock her down. That's it for this week, though. Next week we're gonna start our Peacemaker prep and do the Suicide Squad. So
sweet.
it'll be cool to see him. Thank you, Sam, for stopping by, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.